film a video now, which is going to be part 1 in a playlist on all about clicker training for dogs. So you've probably heard about clicker training, but quite a lot of people don't know what it is. So a clicker is just something that makes a noise, like a click, just like that. What are you doing, little lady? Good girl, good girl. So a clicker just makes the noise of a click. Now a lot of people think that clicker training is magical, mysterious, it does all the work for you. So my wife came home one day after seeing on one of these crazy Facebook groups that she's on all about clicker training, that somebody's been clicker training their dog, and my wife came home and said, right, we're going to get a clicker and we're going to do clicker training. And when I asked why, she said, well, because look at the dog. Showed me this video of this dog that had been, I don't know, jumping through hoops that were on fire or something crazy, and she thought that just having a clicker would teach the dog to do that. So she was wrong. Don't be under any illusions. You've still got to put exactly the same amount of work, time and commitment into training the dog, but a clicker just makes it slightly more easier for the dog to learn. So a clicker, I would recommend that if you're new to owning the dog, or you're having troubles trying to teach a dog certain particular aspects of behaviour or what you want to teach it, then for the sake of, this costs probably something like a £5 on eBay, for the sake of a £5, I'd go and buy a clicker, give this a go, which I'm going to talk about in the next few videos, and if it works for you, absolutely fantastic. If it doesn't work for you, you've lost a £5, and it pretty much does work anyway. Well, not pretty much, it works. It just depends on the application you want for it. So Dolly's clicker trained. I'm not sure at the very beginning of having Fern, I might have started a video on clicker training, so she'll still know what it means if I do a click. I've got to be very careful, because every time I click this, with Dolly being clicker trained, it's going to decondition her. So I'm careful not to click it all the time around her. So clicker training, it came from, it's based on a principle or a theory from a psychologist, I think he's a Russian guy, discovered, called Pavlov. So quite a few people have heard of Pavlov's bell, or Pavlov's dogs. And this whole concept was highlighted or was brought around because of Pavlov and his work. So he was doing some work in a science lab. I think he discovered the whole theory by accident. But what was happening at the time, he was feeding some dogs, which he'd got in, I don't think the dogs were part of the experiment, but he just happened to be feeding them, and ringing a bell at the same time. And every time he fed them, the bell would rung, and the dogs soon learned to associate the sound of that bell with food arriving in their bowl. And not only did the dogs associate that, Pavlov noticed that. So what Pavlov then did, I believe, he ditched the experiment he was working on and started doing this new experiment into sort of salivation in dogs, how you can make them salivate more. And he discovered that once the dogs have been conditioned to the sound of this bell, meaning you are going to get fed, he could then ring the bell and not give them any food, and they would start salivating anyway, and because they are expecting food. And this whole concept of clicker training is based on that. So we're replacing the sound of the bell with a click. Or in fact, if you want to go down that route, you can ring the bell and do this whole process, because don't forget, it's just a sound. It's not magical or mysterious. It's just good imprinting in the brain. So I think this is called classical conditioning, and it's a way of conditioning the dog to understand that this sound means food is coming. And once we've conditioned the dog to understand that this sound means food is coming, then we can use that later on in training to get really, really rapid responses, or sort of really good timing with the dogs. So that's just a bit of an explanation of what clicker training is, who it's for everybody. If you've not tried it, or have not heard of it, or if you've heard of it but not got a clue, then buy a clicker for a few quid, follow this series, and hopefully we can all go together and go through the steps together, and I can show you how I'm going to use it with Fern, and you can play around with it yourselves, and hopefully we can all have a little better behaved dogs and enjoy the part of training a dog and making it more enjoyable for everybody. So I hope that helps, and more to come soon. Thank you for watching me and Fern. Please give us a subscribe, a like, a share, and comment below with anything you've got for us.